British people are known for being polite, but sometimes that politeness hides something else. And in this episode, we're talking about passive aggression in British culture. And we're going to teach you at least 10 phrases that sound nice on the surface, but might actually mean something more negative. My name is British English teacher Roy. Welcome to the English Right Now podcast. And joining me is my dear friend Rob. Hello.
Oh, hello. I'm trying to be passive aggressive there.
Straight off. Oh, how are you today? Genuinely.
I'm all right. No, genuinely, I'm okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking.
Oh, always a pleasure. But interestingly enough, today we're going to talk about passive aggression. This is something, a topic that you actually suggested, and I think is a really, really interesting topic. We've just briefly spoken about this. How would you describe passive aggression in British culture?
Yeah. I think it's a very British thing. It's being politely being rude, I think.
Yeah. It can be. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I think passive aggression probably exists in a lot of different. Everybody could be passive aggressive, but it's kind of a real communication style that you want to avoid people in British English in a certain way. But we do it sometimes. You were talking about something that happened to you the other day with a door. What happened?
Yeah, somebody didn't hold the door open for me. You know, normally it's quite polite, isn't it? You hold the door open for somebody so it doesn't slam in your face. But they walked to the door closed. And what did I say? I didn't say that was bad or you're awful. I just said thank you. Why did I say thank you for slamming the door in my face? Because I was being passive aggressive. Yeah.
You were. I think that's lovely. I think this is one thing we need to get out of the way straight away because straight away. It's a lot of it is about tone of voice. A lot of it is about the way we say things. So obviously, thank you could be really positive. If you bring me a cup of tea and I say, "Oh, Rob, thank you," I'm being genuine. If I not necessarily wanted the cup of tea, I might go, "Oh, thanks," and it's still relatively positive. But if you annoy me, I might be like, "Thanks," or "Oh yeah, thanks for that." And it's about tone of voice. And I think the first expression that's interesting that we're going to teach today. That's interesting. It's a good one to demonstrate. So, literally, what does "that's interesting" mean?
It's of interest. It's quite an interesting. It's quite maybe a revealing fact or a fascinating fact that somebody has told you, and you go, "That's interesting," because it's of interest. Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? So if you say, "Oh, Roy, I'm going away," oh, really? That's interesting. I find people show interest rather than say interest. So, really, where are you going? So there's more follow up. If it's genuine, there's a lightness to the voice. If I'm not really interested, but I want to be polite, I might go, "Oh, cool, that's interesting." And that's not necessarily passive aggression. That's more keeping this kind of social harmony. But it's this kind of negative venom behind the voice, often with our face. "Oh yeah, really? Oh, that's really interesting." That can be quite passive aggressive. So
I mean,
it goes through stages. It's about tone.
That expression you mentioned, that's interesting though. Yeah, you might do it because somebody else has really annoyed you. So I might say, "Hey, Roy, I got a pay rise. I've got loads of money now," and you might go, "That's interesting," meaning
brilliant.
I'm not
well done for you, Rob.
Yeah. I'm pleased for you. It doesn't help me, but yeah.
No, I find British people commonly, if they are really annoyed with you, they'll either become really formal with a passive aggressive element, really overly polite, but with that kind of venom behind it. They'll maybe become a bit patronizing. We talked about patronizing. Do you know what that means, Rob?
Oh, are you? Yeah, you're being very patronizing.
That's been patronizing there. Do you actually know what that means, Rob? That kind of horrible, overly almost treating you like a child, isn't it? Like treating you like you're not very. It's awful. Or we also become completely just disengaged. Like, yeah, whatever, cool. A lot of the phrases we're going to teach, they could be positive, but they could also be negative depending on tone. But there's one I find very passive aggressive, which is, "If you say so."
Yes, I've used that. Yeah.
What would you? I mean, it sounds for somebody learning English. It sounds more like I accept your opinion. Oh, really? Yeah, cool. If you say so,
If you say
it
so,
could
it's
be.
right. Yeah.
But it,
But you're,
yeah, I mean, but even then, I feel it's always an element of kind of negativity to it.
mm,
What would you translate as? Yeah, whatever. If you say so.
if you say so, kind of, I'm not impressed.
Yeah,
If you say so, it's kind of, I don't really value your opinion. If you say so, that's, basically that's what you think. It's not what I think, but if you say so, well, anything. Another thing I sometimes say is anything for an easy life. So they go, yeah, okay, you do it. Anything for an easy life. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just going to go with the flow. But if you say so,
what obviously British people like to maintain that sense of calm in a lot of ways.
hmm.
So rather than kind of create tension, we'll play it down, maybe even a tut. But passive aggression does show that we're annoyed, but in a polite way. Why? It, why?
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah,
It's
we
yeah
still keep that element of politeness. You're right. Like you say, if you say so, we're not going, you're wrong. I don't agree with you. Kind of just basically for an easy life, as I say, to make the situation calm and polite. You go, okay, if that's what you
yeah.
think, fine. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
it's too really. And the thing is as well, like with if you say so, even though it could technically be okay, I would probably recommend students avoid an expression like that because it's more likely to be perceived as flippant or passive aggressive than positive in a lot of ways. That one.
Mm.
Um, one I find personally, I find a bit passive aggressive, even though I know sometimes it comes from a good place. Is I love that for you.
I love that for you.
Yeah. Where, oh, I'm going away, Rob. Where are you going, Rob? I'm going camping. I love that for you. It's
Yeah.
it's like it's good for you, but it's not what I would do for me. I feel like there's some kind of
Yeah.
disconnect, almost like an element of looking down on that person.
Yeah. I guess it's in a similar expression when you say good for you,
Oh, good for
sometimes,
you.
oh, I'm going to, I don't know, I can't think of an example. I'm going to go camping. And you might say, oh, good for
Oh,
you.
good for you.
Good for you. Now, you might mean that genuinely, good for you. You're
Yeah,
going to have a really nice time. But often, as you say, and depending on the sort of tone, good for you. It's kind of, so what?
yeah. One word I find really flippant. I think that's a good word. Flippant. It's like sort of almost non-caring attitude. Like, oh, I don't
Hmm.
care what happens. This flippant attitude is whatever.
Hmm.
It's like a stroppy teenager, isn't it?
Yeah, whatever.
What?
Whatevs. Hmm.
Yeah. Oh gosh, don't go there. That's going too much. You're too young for me, Rob. But like this kind of whatever. It's so dismissive, and I think, would you ever use whatever in a workplace as a singular word?
I probably wouldn't use it in a workplace, certainly not with my boss.
No.
I think that would be, yeah, that's slightly too dismissive and rude, too informal.
Yeah. I think people wouldn't take it. I mean, you could put it in a sentence. Oh yeah, whatever you want, whatever you
Mm,
want, and that's a bit more. It's sort of neutralized by the whole sentence. But this
yeah.
element of oh whatever, Rob, it's designed to shut you down.
Mm.
So another one. It's up to you, really.
It's up to you. Yeah.
I mean, if it's positive, it could be genuine, right? Your decision.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. What should we see at the cinema tonight? It's up to you. It's your birthday.
Yeah.
You could choose. That's a nice way of doing it. But in the passive aggressive way, yeah, kind of, it's up to you. Kind of, I don't care really. I don't want to go to the cinema anyway. It's up to you.
I think again, it's the most important thing sometimes with British culture. It's not necessarily what we say; it's how we say it. With the exception of yeah, if you say so.
Mm.
Some of them it's how we deliver that thing. Have you? One thing I find that's really unusual is kind of kill them with kindness. You know that expression?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Have
Being
you ever
too kind.
experienced that where somebody becomes too polite?
Yeah. Too polite, sometimes too nice. You think, hold on, there's a catch here.
Yeah. but it's more there's this kind of wry smile, this kind of great, yeah.
Mm,
Oh, it is lovely to see you, Rob. Would you like any more help? Are you sure?
yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah.
very obvious. But if somebody's like, "Oh, lovely to see you. Wouldn't it be lovely to see you again?" This kind of
Mm.
thing. But it's all pleasantries, but with no substance.
It's
I
fake,
find
isn't it? They're fake,
yes.
not real. Yeah.
What would you say between so we all know somebody who's genuinely passive aggressive. They are you can't be angry with somebody if they are polite on the surface, really. I think that's
Mm.
the defense. They're polite to a fault, and it's you can't be angry with that, even though
No.
you know they are creating distance barriers and that. No, of course, I could do anything to help you. You might
Mm.
not like it, but there's very little you can say to stop
Yes,
somebody acting like that.
because the words they're using are correct. They're polite
Yeah,
words, but as you say, it's kind of it's what we say loaded, isn't it? It's loaded with meaning. There's something
yeah,
behind those words. And the other thing I think people use when they're passive aggressive sometimes is sarcasm,
mm,
uh, or slight exaggeration. You know, if you walk into a room and you feel it's really cold, you go, is it me? But it seems really cold in here. In other words, it is
yeah,
cold, but
yeah.
I'm not going to say so. You know.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we get sarcasm. It's weird, isn't it? Because we've talked about banter before. The closer we get, the ruder we can be. But the
Mm.
more distant we are, the politer we can become. And then it goes too far of being polite to the point where we're actually doing it to be rude.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, little expressions. What other kind of expression would you say could sound really passive aggressive?
Saying things like "it's fine," you know,
Oh, oh, oh.
it's it's fine, it's fine,
That-
which means it's not really, but
yeah.
I'll accept the situation or I'll put up with it. You know.
I often describe to students fine as one of the most loaded words in British English because
Mm.
fine very rarely means fine, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. It's a
It
soft way of saying bad, really, isn't it?
yeah,
It's
and a lot of
fine.
these expressions I would avoid putting in text as well because if you today, for example, you had a little hold up.
Mm.
And I text you, I think I said, "Oh, no problem at all, whatever." Well, I didn't say whatever because that would have sounded rude potentially on the text. I said, "No problem at all." But if I'd have just texted one word, fine.
Fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
that could come across, even if I didn't mean it that way, you have to be careful because, like, very short, abrupt answers like that, particularly using a word that can have multiple meanings,
Yeah.
it could be quite dangerous.
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, text messages
Yeah.
are very hard to interpret sometimes if you use the wrong kind of words, because they can be taken the wrong way. Yeah, fine. If you replied fine, I may have thought either fine, yeah, it's okay, or
Yeah.
fine as in fine. Here we go again. He's late again. You know,
Yeah.
I'll put up with it. I'll survive. There's another thing people say. I'll survive. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it can be. I mean, there's a fine line. If you've got intimacy or kind of closeness with the person, you can get away with making these kind of jokes. Like if you said to me, "Oh, Roy, I'm going to be half an hour late. Oh, I'll survive." You will know
Mm,
because you know my character
mm,
that wouldn't bother me. It's not a problem at
yeah,
all. And if you always know that you could double check.
yeah.
But with somebody you don't know, it's a bit more it's difficult to decipher sometimes. So I think some words like fine, I find
Mm,
K really, when people text back going K,
okay.
I
Can't
find
even
that a
bo-
bit passive
they
aggressive.
can't be bothered to go okay. They just go
Yeah,
K.
can't be bothered with any more. K or a thumbs up. I
Mm,
saw, I saw some like kind of things where the current generation find thumbs up and K really quite passive aggressive. And there were people of our generation sort of saying, "Oh, these people need to grow up." But actually, I can kind of see it because it's very
yeah.
kind of if you did that in an office, "Oh, Roy, I'm gonna be 5 minutes late,"
Yeah.
you'd be like, "What an idiot." If I just
Yeah, I
it's
know.
it's
I know.
it can be tough.
I
And
have to
it's
I have
it's
to I have to confess, I mean, I'm quite passive aggressive at home because I'm quite a tidy person. but the
Yeah.
rest of the family are quite untidy. So rather than me say, could you put your shoes away, please? I might come in from work and go, I'll put the shoes away, or I'll hang your coat up, and that's passive aggressive because although
Yeah.
you're explaining what you're going to do, you're doing it in a way, or you're saying it in a way that basically means you haven't done it and I'll have to do it.
Or like, I didn't know a centipede was moving in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All
Some
those
of them can be
shoes. Yeah.
really, like even that getting somebody to shut the door. If you say, something like, it's quite a northern expression, but it's common across the country now. Put the wood in the hole. That's
Mm.
fine. But I think if you leave the door open, do you live in a barn?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's quite passive aggressive, isn't it? Because it's making the other person's brain flip to the next level. You're not saying it directly, but you're doing
Mm.
it in a way which is quite, you want them to deduce what you're saying almost.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
code.
I used to work with a guy who he was really passive aggressive, and one time this another guy was singing in the office like da 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 da, and the guy went deadpan. Have you ever considered being a professional singer? And the guy went, what? And he went, don't. Just walked off, and I was like, wow, he just didn't care. But I think there's a difference between sort of biting sarcasm and politeness, which is designed to. It's like a veneer, isn't it? I think if I became, you would feel uncomfortable if I became overly polite with you.
Mm.
If I suddenly sent you a text, oh Rob, that's absolutely not a problem. It would be a pleasure to speak with you a little bit later on. You'd be like, what's wrong? What's gone off? Why is Roy speaking to me like a Victorian gentleman?
Yeah.
Another one that could be quite flippant. I use it a lot, but no worries, depending on how it's said. So, for
Mm.
example, when I say, "Oh no, yeah, no worries," I quite happily send that. But if it's said in a way, again, it's "Oh yeah, whatever, no worries." It's that kind of, yeah, no
Mm.
worries. This passive aggressive. It's a tone of voice. It's. How would you read if somebody's being passive aggressive? What would you look for?
Well, I say it's the tone of voice because, like your example there, if you said no worries, I think okay, that's not a problem. No worries is you're saying the opposite of what you're really thinking,
Yeah.
but also your
But
facial expressions as well.
there's that wry kind of, there's a smile and the eyes go a bit closed. Quite,
Yeah.
yeah, great, Rob. Really, I'm
Mm.
really happy for you.
Yeah.
It's you can, and it's almost laboured the way people are speaking. I
Mm.
find a good expression we can teach is, oh yeah, that's certainly one way of doing it.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Basically, there are better ways to do things, but you've chosen to do it the hard way, possibly, or something like
yeah.
that. Yeah, that's
I
one
mean,
way.
you might be the worst thing as well. We're judging it with our opinion.
Mm.
They might be well and truly correct to be doing it that way. That may be the better way, but so you shouldn't always, take these people like, you shouldn't take them at face value because sometimes they could be wrong as well. They're just passive
Mm.
aggressive.
Yeah, but you do get it in
What
the
other?
workplace sometimes from managers who are trying to manage you.
Yeah,
Basically, they're trying to. I guess they're trying to help you, but they just haven't quite got the skills to do it right. So they might say something like, "You might want to do it this way," or "You might prefer
yeah.
to put this here," or something like that. Basically saying, "Put this here," or "Do this."
Again, with that dead tone, if they deliver,
Yeah,
there's a difference between. Oh, I mean, you might want to, do that. I mean, it still means do that, but if there's a lightness to the tone,
yeah,
it's trying to be a bit more tactful. But if I go, yeah, Rob, you actually might want to do that.
mm,
You might want to do it that way, Rob. There's that patronizing element to it.
mm.
I'm not going to ask if you've ever had bosses like that because I'm sure the trauma is already there for all. But this is, there's certain things like, oh yeah, well, you could do that, Rob.
Mm,
It's that dead tone.
mm.
One word I find really loaded. It can be right. I mean, we use this for everything.
Yeah, right.
Like right for like leaving and oh right and
Mm,
right. It's like a declaration that something's about to happen. But if we
yeah.
do this kind of right,
Hmm. Yeah.
It's again,
Right.
it's
Yeah. You're
it's like
unsure,
I
aren't
don't.
you?
Yeah, it's like I don't even know how to respond to this, and I don't want to spend the energy thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Hmm. I see what you mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's again, it's like it's just the mannerisms of things. Can you give us some more examples of times that maybe you've been passive aggressive? I mean, I've never been passive aggressive in my life. I'm too
I
innocent.
can't imagine that. I can't imagine you being passive aggressive, Roy.
Don't make me choke.
Well, I say I often do things begrudgingly, not really wanting to do them, but I have to do them to make things happen. But to let people know I'm doing them, I'll say them rather than saying I am doing this. I will say it in a sort of passive aggressive way, like, I'll clear up then. I'll cook dinner then, shall I? Or
Yeah. It's again, it's
nobody
just it's
else is
the
going to
tone.
do it.
Is it an effective way of communicating?
No, because I find the response I get is to ignore me. The more passive aggressive I am, the more my family will ignore me because they know I'm being passive aggressive. So I think to make me more angry, they ignore me. They don't go, "Oh, you're right, Dad. Yes, you cook dinner," or "No, I'll cook dinner," or whatever. It's kind of okay.
It's it's quite yeah. I find that weird. You're right. I probably would ignore it because at the end of the day, you're going to cook dinner, aren't you? So cool.
Yeah, thanks.
And that's
Great.
yeah. Oh, brilliant. I'll have the chicken nuggets, please, Rob.
Yeah.
But this is
But
the thing.
maybe Roy, it makes you by saying it though, it makes you feel better because you have announced to the room what you're doing.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's certainly one way of communicating. But this was I mean, yeah, I think maybe it does make you feel better. It's a release, isn't it? And it's kind of yeah, there's a venting there, isn't there? The venting of
Mm.
frustration.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
What
I
about responding to it though? If somebody's passive aggressive to you, then and I mentioned that my family would ignore me. What would you say to somebody who's being passive aggressive to you?
I would probably treat them with the same level of fake politeness. So if somebody's going to be fake fake polite with me, and they're going to say like, "Oh, lovely to see you," I'll probably go, isn't it just?" Because what's I to be honest, I like to think I'd probably do that, but I probably wouldn't waste my time. I,
Mm,
I think I think a lot of British people in that sort of sense are quite efficient with their time. I think people are only polite when they have to be. This false politeness, like if somebody's working with you and they need to be polite in the office, um, they will fake the politeness. But genuinely, I would try not to waste my time.
okay.
That's how I feel.
Mm.
I mean, if you came home and you said, "Oh, well, fine, I'll cook," then I probably would ignore it because I'd be like, "Right, he's in a bad mood. I'm not going to engage."
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
would I feel
Okay.
guilty? Well, I think that's the thing, and it depends on the level of. It's tough, isn't it? Because
Mm,
on the one hand, I should be no, it's okay, I'll do it. But then maybe I've got something that I need to do, or maybe I just flat out don't want to do it, and then
mm.
it's the instigation of a kind of that you're trying to get somebody to act, aren't you? And
Yeah.
if a person doesn't want to act, they don't want to act. So it's
No.
tough. I think
I was thinking back
it's
to my first example at the beginning of the podcast where I said about how somebody didn't hold the door open for me. So I said, "Thank you," in that sarcastic kind of
yeah,
passive aggressive way. What response was I expecting? I suppose I want them to say sorry, which
yeah.
they didn't do because they carried on. Yeah, I want them to go, "Sorry, I'm so sorry I didn't do that." But somebody might
I
also
am a
say,
terrible person.
"Yeah," but they don't. So
No,
either they will ignore you and carry on, or they might go, "What? What have I done?" Or or get over
it's
yourself. We might say,
it's
get over yourself.
acknowledgement, isn't it? It's an
Mm,
acknowledgement, and I think British people turn passive aggressive when they feel like they've a lack of fairness. I think that's they feel either a lack
yeah,
of fairness or they've been offended in some way, and they feel there's no point trying to repair the damage.
yeah, yeah. But are you
An
also being
expression.
a coward? Are you being a coward by not facing up to the situation rather than saying to somebody, you haven't done this right and you've affected me, which is what we should do. We're not direct and we kind of hide and just kind of say something slightly sarcastic instead.
Potentially from an outside point of view, I agree with you. But then again, we're playing by the cultural rules
Yeah. Yeah.
that we have. So really, if you upset me to the point where I thought, well, I've got to continue to work with the person, so I might as well make it happen on a certain level. But the flip
Yeah.
side is me trying to confront you. Rob, I found what you did was really offensive. Actually, the way our cultural rules work, me doing that is far worse than just being passive aggressive because I'm really kind of creating a scene and
Yeah.
therefore I may lose my social status. But if I continue to be polite, it continues this sense of fake normality. So, yeah, in certain sense, yeah, cowardice maybe, but I think we're just playing by our cultural rules. And that's a weird one. I mean, like, an expression I find really quite passive aggressive. Let's do a few expressions. Oh, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it?
You don't
Means I
really
don't
care,
really
do you?
care. Yeah.
No.
Oh, Roy, my Ferrari got scratched. Oh, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? It's. I think there's a sense of envy there as well. Like if you've got a Ferrari and I've got a,
Yeah.
Fiat. Not that there's anything wrong with a Fiat,
Yeah.
but it's not a Ferrari, is it? I might be. Oh, that's a bit of a
Yeah.
shame, isn't it?
What about
what a
what about fair enough?
Oh God,
Fair
that's
enough.
awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it can be genuine. Oh, fair enough. I didn't realize that. But quite often it's like, oh yeah, oh fair enough. It's like I don't agree, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Disengaged. I
Fair enough.
mean, and it's the pausing as well. I find pausing as an. I mean, it's fine, Rob. It's that
Yeah.
pause, the overly dramatic pause. There's no need to say. I mean, really, it's up to you.
They say
It's like-
silence means more than many words, doesn't it? They say silence says a
Yeah.
lot more than actual saying something.
Does it? Does it really? And it's
Yeah.
also that repetition factor. There you go. That's another passive aggressive. Does it, Rob? Does it really? I find overusing of somebody's name can sound passive aggressive at times if you're not careful. Does it,
Yeah.
Rob? Is that what you really think, Rob? Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rob.
it's kind of really holding the same question, sort of repetition, as if you're saying that person probably didn't understand. And it's and also, it's tone of voice again, but overly using question tags like, you understood that, didn't you? Didn't you? Yeah.
What about using but? I take your point, but
oh, nothing good comes after but, does it?
No.
Nothing good. I always say that. It's always like something, now I'm not something bad, but it's like, now I'm not prejudiced, but and it's like, oh God, here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, the person's a bigot. It's awful. I think the word but, it's loaded, especially if you hold it. Now, it's all right, but I wouldn't necessarily do it that way. I think a few more, like talking about things like, I mean, I think one that I find really, if you want to as well, that can be really quite, if you want to. Really, if that's what you want, these kind of expressions, one I find quite loaded in a weird way, living one's best life. I find like, I always find it a bit off. It feels vapid to me, empty. What's Rob doing? Oh, I'm just sure he's living his best life. It's like his best life wouldn't be my best life, but Rob, he's living his best life. And even when we say it ourselves, how are you doing? I'm just living my best life. It's just an empty expression.
What does that mean? Yeah.
But yeah, I find a lot of these expressions, it's tone, isn't it? Patronizing. Yes. Patronizing is when we talk down to people almost like a child.
Yeah.
And
that's right, Roy.
Oh, well done, Rob. Well done. It's this kind of, I mean, obviously we're over dramatizing. Oh gosh, look at that. Over dramatizing a bit. Look like I've just been electrocuted.
Yeah.
It's over dramatizing, but I mean, even we've been friends for 100 and something years now.
Mm.
I can't remember. But even then, I wouldn't be passive aggressive with you, because I think you can joke sarcasm, but
Yes,
that's not passive aggressive.
we'd make sarcastic comments, but I think, and I hope, we
Yeah.
know we're just teasing, joking, you know. And it's a bit like that
Yeah.
banter we talked about in another podcast.
Yeah.
So we're having, we're poking each other, but for fun.
That's a demonstration of our connection.
Mm.
Whereas passive aggression is pushing that person away, and it's far more malicious. Like, if I say, "Lovely of you to join us," you're late, but you'll see a kind of happiness on my face, even though I'm being sarcastic. "Oh, thanks for joining us, Rob. Well done." This kind of thing. Like, you come down the pub 20 minutes late. "Oh, well, here he is. Well done.
Oh,
Hey,
well
everybody
done."
give him a clap. But there's a spirit of banter there, because I'm kind of exaggerating the happiness. Whereas if I go, "Oh, well done, Rob. That's really good work. Well done for actually coming." It's the tone. There's no
It is the tone, but
happiness.
maybe we do it more with strangers then. For example,
Yeah, I think
going
so.
back into that example of the door and me going, "Thanks," thanks for.
I think it's
not-
strangers
I
or
wouldn't
people
say that. I
we
wouldn't
want.
say that to you, would I?
Yeah,
Or if
no.
I did, it would be in a more jokey way.
You might actually be more direct with me.
Mm.
If I accidentally let the door go, you go, "Roy, you've left the mate. Can you not do that?" I'll be like, "Oh, sorry, pal." And I'd know that, you're annoyed, but then we have the level of connection where you can tell me what you think, and I won't take
Yeah,
offense, because
I
you know
might
my
say,
resilience.
"Oh, was it something I said? You shut the door on me. Was it something I said?"
And I might even make a joke that then that I feel bad. I might go, "Oh, sorry, mate. I'll hit you next time with it."
Mm. It's
Then it's this kind of level of, yeah. But it's this. I think you're right. I think we're passive aggressive with people that we don't know, that annoy us, passive aggressive with people that we don't like, or passive aggressive with people that we would prefer to be strangers. It's just distance. The person in the office, "Oh God, here he is again. Oh, lovely to see you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or with people you're genuinely annoyed with. So I may be passive aggressive with you if you've done something that you really have annoyed me.
Yeah. I mean, with your family, I'm going to assume none of those really tick the box.
No.
But you're just venting your frustration and hoping that,
Yeah.
I'm hoping you go, "Oh, here are my children. I wish they were strangers." No, that's not the case. And it's not that they're, you're not necessarily, but it is the annoyance factor as well. You're kind of venting your frustration, but you also have that level of closeness that you kind of hope they pick up on it.
Yes.
But deep down, they're not going to.
Not going to.
Because you've tried and tested this format 1,000 times, and they've still never done the dishes. I don't know about yours, but it's a weird one, because you're passive aggressive with your family because you kind of love them so much that you hope,
Yes.
and then they ignore you because they love you.
I'm disappointed with them. I'm disappointed, but let's put it that way, that they don't put their shoes away or they don't clean up.
I didn't realize this was going to be a counselling session, Rob.
I love them really, though. Don't worry.
It's a real. I tell you what, you can tell that's true because you didn't pause. But if you go, "I love them," I mean, really, it's like I'm trying to validate. But on that note, I want to say thank you very much. If you want to support this podcast, please do check out the link. You could always buy a cup of tea for one of us, or both of us if you wish, down in the link below. But from me today, I just want to say thank you, genuinely thank you for listening to us today, and thank you, Rob, for joining me.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Just another example.
Brilliant. Well done, Rob. We got to the end of another one. Thank you very much for joining me, Rob. I'll see you in the next one.
Will do. Bye.
Take care. Bye.